Coming up on this episode of the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise podcast.
That there is no magic bullet. There is no quick fix, and the closest thing to that is...
Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise podcast with Dr. William T. Choctaw, MD, JD. This podcast will inform, educate, and motivate you to live a more healthy, wealthy, and wise life. It's powered by the over 50 years of medical experience of this Yale University Medical School trained surgeon, who also received his Juris Doctorate from Western State Law School. He has executive experience as a former mayor of Walnut, California, as a chairman of the nonprofit Servants Armed, and as president of Choctaw Medical Group Incorporated. You've got questions or concerns, he's got answers for both. So let's listen in on an interview already in progress.
And I think it's about changing a culture, right? Because especially in men of this age, we come from a time where you worked, especially, it's like the job is important. You can't take time off from work. You can't take, why are you taking, even my mother, if I take vacation, why are you taking so much vacation time? You're tired. Because there's a stigma to work, right?
And that's the way it used to be, particularly.
You're not committed to the job. So you'll be passed up for promotion because
Well, it was like when I was growing up, and I'm in my 70s. You're approaching 50, and the idea was you work for a company for 50 or 60 years, and then you retired, and the company was committed to you, and you were committed to them. Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Those jobs have been shipped overseas. Company says, you know what, I'm sorry, and even when you have pension plans, let's say middle class auto workers or whatever, company goes in, gets new managers and say, you know what. There are millions of dollars, and then they take the pension plan money, you have to sue them. So my point is that all of that's been flipped on its head now, and it's different. It's different. Not that it's good or bad, but it's different, and we have to adjust to that difference. What would you advise? Let's say a 49-year-old male who is approaching 400 pounds or close to that, maybe, and who's not 6'4". So let's say who's 5'4", or something like that. What would you say to him or her, in terms of if they came to you for advice?
I would say start reaching out to your primary care physician and explain your situation.
Okay.
And ask, what does my health plan offer me? My health plan through Kaiser offered quite a bit. There were support groups and, and that my doctor said, you can sign up for this, you can sign up for that. There's
Kaiser's very good. Yeah.
Different apps available. But it's also, I think the best thing is to find out all of your possibility, everything that's available, and then decide, try to make an informed decision about what is the best course of action for you.
That makes sense.
And I think that includes not only knowing what's available, but then researching into what experience people who are similar to my profile have had. Right? Because there's the type of man that used to probably be an athlete at one time, and they had that history of it might be a little bit easier for them to lose weight. So it might not be, or as we're someone who's never really been athletic, it might be best. What do they call it? Ectomorphs or mesomorphs, or how the muscle, how you process what your metabolic rate is. Start finding out about what is your profile?
So becoming more informed. Knowledge is power. I think that's an excellent point.
And if it's not working, ask yourself, okay, it's not working. Regroup. And ask for advice, because we think we know and we can listen to.
Yes.
There are a lot of podcasts out there that make a promise, and especially around fitness and nutrition, right?
Yes.
Miracle. Just take this. It will, it will be your miracle cure. It will.
Yes.
And
well, the whole thing with diet medication.
Fix, right?
No, yeah, the whole thing with diet medication. I still remember when Oprah got into her new jeans. Right. I don't know, 20 or 30 years ago or whatever.
I remember those two, but it would happen every 5 years. It was a cycle.
That's right.
Start a new season, and she'd come out and like heavy Oprah, thin Oprah. Right? It would be a cycle.
But yeah, and
Luther Vandross too. Luther Vandross. Right?
Yes. Luther Vandross is one of my favorite singers.
Right. Great, right? Singer, but like he would have his heavy period, then he'd come out and he's skinny Luther.
That there is no magic bullet. There is no quick fix, and the closest thing to that is healthcare is finally coming up with good medication with some of the newer types of medication under physician supervision that can help, and the surgeries improve now. Our ability to do the surgeries and to make it more effective for the patient is much better now than it was 30 years ago or 40 years ago. But I think your advice is very, very good. But what else would you advise a patient?
Get a buddy.
Yeah. I like that.
A Billy buddy, whether it be a gym buddy, someone to walk with, someone to even complain about. Yeah, I could really go for some fast food right now. At least have one's like, we can acknowledge that, yeah, it would be really great, but we're not going to do it. Having an accountability buddy really helps.
Yeah.
Even not only to work out with you, but just to hear you can gripe over it.
Yes.
I am, I do a lot. I walk a lot. I spend a lot of time. Do I love it? Do I hate that I have to spend time? No. It's helpful to my mental health. I'll admit it. I wish I could be that person that loves to work out or like, I don't. I could really enjoy just sitting watching Netflix all day or something. But
yeah, I understand.
I do understand. I will not deny that once you get into the rhythm, there are the endorphins kick in and feel a different. Yes. Getting to that difference can be a begrudging moment. There I am.
It's a struggle, yeah.
Right, and it's so easy to talk yourself out of it, right? Like, well, I won't work out today. I'll work out tomorrow. You get into these patterns of talking. I'm really good at talking myself out of doing physical activity. So when I get into that mode, I don't even think about it. I just get up and walk out. Once I'm in my zone, I was like, it wasn't so bad.
But you were very good. You had walking. You had a good exercise program, as a foundation that you were able to build upon that took you to the surgery, whatever additional treatment that you needed. So you had done a lot of the homework.
I have fans that I didn't even know I had. It's funny. In the line at the grocery store, people say, "You're the walker. You look great." I mean, you lost so much weight, and so now you really are. You inspire me to get out too.
There you go.
It feels a little bit creepy. It's like, why are you watching me? I'm out in my head, but I never think people notice me. But it happens frequently that you're the walker, and people recognize me when I'm out at the stores, in the local store or something, and it's kind of nice that. People recognize you and validate the work that you're putting in.
It shows that you're demonstrating leadership even without knowing that you're demonstrating leadership.
Right.
And I think you're also correct. I think people do notice us, good or bad, and that for all of us that we want to be cognizant of that, whatever we're doing or trying to do, that we may be influencing somebody else.
And it really is about that. You see this on social media sometimes, that sometimes a kind word to someone can really be a transformational experience, because you don't know what they're dealing with in their personal life or in that moment. A kind gesture or even a few words can really be transformative. So I think there's great value in that, and I think we are it doesn't come easy to a lot of people, I think, especially
no it doesn't.
Society that we live in, right?
And sometimes our society is cruel to those people, that we put them down, and then they sometimes spiral into sadness and depression, which of course then makes the problem worse. Once you start going down what I call the rabbit hole, it's hard to come back up. Somebody needs to come and get you and sort of pull you back up, because then you start having those negative thoughts that folks have said, and you people this and you people that, and why don't you do, on and on and on, and start questioning your own self-confidence. And if you lose your confidence, then it's more difficult for you to make those correct choices to sort of help and come out on the winning end. I just think it's extraordinary what you've done and individuals like yourself have done.
Yeah, I do think it goes back to that psychological piece. You latch onto this negativity, or I'm the fattest person in the room. People are looking at me funny.
They're looking at me, yeah.
People do notice you, or on the plane, am I taking up too much of the seat?
Yes.
And people can be very cruel.
Yes.
And I think that, and you're right, you do spiral into this rabbit hole, and you just perpetuate it as you get lost. And I think you're so right. You need someone, or whether or not a friend or some type of professional help, to help climb out of it.
And that's why your suggestion that early on of getting a friend, that friend is there not because he or she is brilliant in weight management or whatever, but there's somebody who will listen and not judge. That's all you need. You just need somebody who listens and not judge. I remember one time I was talking to someone, and they were talking to me, and I was saying, well, you can do this, this, and this. And they said to me, I'm not talking to you to tell me what to do. I just want you to listen. I can figure out what to do, but I just need an ear to just listen to me tell you A, B, and C. And that was a watershed moment for me. I said, okay, I don't have to always try to solve somebody else's problem. Sometimes solving that problem is just being a friend. And sometimes being a friend is just listening and saying, okay, I understand.
What you said is so important. We have this in my executive team where if we need to just vent about something that happened, I just need to vent about something. So then everyone knows, okay, he's not asking for feedback or advice on
right.
Figure out how to manage it. I just need, especially when there are things you can't say to anyone within the organization because they're sensitive issues, but someone on your team who has access to, you can say, it's like, I just need someone to hear me. I don't need your feedback or to tell me. I can figure it out, but it's so helpful to have someone just hear you.
Yeah, we call it ventilation. Ventilation is therapeutic. Ventilation is therapeutic, and that's what good friends do. And no judgment. You will be okay. God is in charge, or whatever the words of encouragement are. And we all need that. I don't care who we are, how strong we are, or what we're going through. We all hit those what I call bumps in the road. Where we need someone to sort of help us out, and hopefully we pay that forward type thing. So. No, go ahead.
No, go on.
No, I was just going to ask. So, does your company encourage activity and health or whatever? And how does that work?
So, within our organization, we, as a policy, internal policy, employees are entitled to have a 30-minute physical activity break throughout the day on the clock. In addition to their break, so their hour lunch, their 2:15, they can take a 30-minute physical activity break. We have physical activity challenges 3 times a year where you get $100. So whoever logs the most physical activity in a 4-week period, you get $100. We have the $100 physical activity reimbursement. So that happens once a year. That if you want, say your gym membership is $100, if you log in that you have physical activity for 5 weeks for 30 minutes, 5 days a week, you can get $100 back. And the flexibility of, we're an entirely remote organization. So
is that right? Okay.
So the flexibility of, if you want to take a Zoom meeting and you have a treadmill pad beneath your desk and you're walking along, while you're in that's perfectly fine too. Before the pandemic, we also used to have, and when we had offices before we went remote, we used to have walking meetings.
Walking meetings.
Yeah, so it's like we all worked in an office, and if you were going to meet with people, we said, okay, well, let's take it as a walking meeting. So instead of everyone sitting at the conference table, we'd all just go for a walk and have the meeting.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise podcast with Dr. William T. Choctaw, MD, JD. We hope you now feel more equipped with tools and actionable information that will help you live a more healthy, which includes the mental, physical, and spiritual, wealthy, which includes the financial, health, and spiritual, and wise, which includes the practical, theoretical, and emotional life. For this one and past podcast episodes, blogs, books, and news you can use, go to www.thwwp.com. That's www.thwwp.com. And you've got it. In the meantime, remember, you too can be the change you want to see in the world. You've been listening to the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise podcast with Dr. William T. Choctaw, MD, JD.